My name is Omer Kaplan, and I'm one of the founders and the deputy CEO of ironSource. And we're going to speak today about a topic which is specifically very close to my heart. It's about Israel and our exciting move from being a startup nation to being a scale-up nation and changing the mode from creating startups to creating world-leading companies. We'll start, just to make things interesting, we'll start with a few random questions. What was the average exit deal size for last year versus 5 years ago? If anybody can guess, if not, I'll give a very quick answer. 50 million last year is not that far. It was actually $212 million last year and $35 million the average exit deal in Israel in 2009. Next question. Which Israeli tech companies have reached a 1 billion market cap or getting close to it or are valuated at over 1 billion, what is oftenly used as a unicorn? Any here, any suspects here, anybody? Got it, so many. So of course, we're proud to be a part of that list. You have amazing companies here in Israel like Waze and Wix and Taboola and Outbrain and Mobileye, of course, and other companies. And these are companies founded in Israel that have raised a $1 billion valuation, which I think is a very, very important indication to the process that we're now seeing that global leading companies are being built in Israel. Where does Israel rank on the NASDAQ? This is a relatively easy one. What position are we on the NASDAQ IPO-wise? Number of IPOs. Any guesses? 4 in the world. Any other? Someone in the back? 5. You're getting closer. Number 2, worldwide number 2. So US and Israel. Okay, so you're getting a prize at the end of the presentation. You're of course wrong, but you're not that far. We're speaking about Israel is the second non-US country in the world, which means that if you include US, we're number 3, but we're number 2 in the non-US, only beaten by the mighty dragon, by China. They have 151 IPOs and of course 1.35 billion people, and we have a staggering number of 87 IPOs with 8.3 million in population. Of course, you can do the math much quicker than I can. And this is the last question, and then we'll dive into the presentation itself. Which leading gaming conference has chosen to hold a conference in TLV, and flattery never hurt anyone? So of course the answer is Casual Connect Tel Aviv, and it's great to be here, and thank you very much. So when we speak about the Israeli entrepreneur, what is the perception of the Israeli entrepreneur in the world? It's not necessarily where we are today, but what do people think when they think about an Israeli entrepreneur? So of course they think that he or she are young and restless. They think that they lack large-scale business management experience, always tech-focused, so with experience from the army, always focused and concentrated in tech. Thinks he knows or she knows everything or almost everything. It's not almost everything. We think we know everything here. Has a lot of chutzpah. We speak again about the chutzpah. By the way, I tried to translate chutzpah to English, and the best thing I can think of is positively rude, or rude in a positive way. That's my best idea to describe chutzpah. And then, doesn't know the following positions exist: CFO and CMO. Don't even know what it means. And looking to secure her future quickly, or in other words, looking for a quick exit. Now, what do people think when they speak about the typical, or what is the perception about the typical Israeli startup? So very similar, of course, pioneering technology. So most people will think it's a bunch of developers with army experience that are now trying to build the next big technology. Agile in a good way, small in size. So you can be huge, but if you're from Israel, the perception is that you're small. No marketing position capabilities. That's actually kind of true. We'll speak about it later more. Doesn't have the following positions, CFO and CMO, which is a given because the Israeli entrepreneur doesn't know what these positions are, and quick and ballsy, looking for an exit deal. So let's speak about, we said that right now we are in a very exciting time where Israel is moving from a startup-oriented environment to a scale-up-oriented environment. And the question is, can Israel create the next Facebook? Will the next Amdocs be an internet company? And all of these questions that are being constantly asked when people are speaking about the high-tech industry in Israel. And I want to focus about the challenges that Israeli companies are facing in scaling up. And I think there are endless challenges, but I'll focus on 3 of them. So we are in a mobile conference, and as a tribute to the iconic title, Clash of Clans, I wish somebody from Supercell is in the audience, but I don't think so. But in the inspiration of Clash of Clans, we kind of divided the challenges to 3 types of clashes. So we have clash of egos, which is always relevant for Israelis, clash of cultures, and clash of styles. We'll start with clash of egos, and clash of egos is all about the challenge of inorganic growth. The way we see it, if you want to create a real world-leading company from Israel, you need to know how to also grow inorganically. To grow inorganically, it means to grow via acquisitions or via mergers. And this is something that has a long, long history of failures in Israel, where one company tries to buy another one, or when companies are trying to merge. And the main, people will tell different stuff about the reasons, but the main reason is almost always clash of egos. We as entrepreneurs in Israel, or as founders or as CEOs in Israel, we think we know everything, and then when we need to work together and reach one decision or one valuation or any type of sensitive agreement, it's usually a very hard task to do, which leads to many of these deals never take place. And when we speak about what is needed in order to overcome this challenge, so first of all, of course, is teaching CEOs to play nice, which means getting multiple CEOs and founders to report to one. I can share a personal stories. In ironSource, we're about 10 founders and about 4 classic CEO types. And one of the main challenges is taking these all alpha CEO types and getting them to work together with one vision, one management, one unified activity. And luckily for us, it's working very well, but it's one of the biggest challenges when we speak about these type of deals. Achieve a certain level of financial de-risking that allows for running a marathon. This is very important and often ignored by many of the companies. The best solution to allow entrepreneurs to be able to run a marathon, to create a global leading company, and not to be tempted to selling the company with early proposals, is to create a situation where all of the founders or all of the top management already had a certain level of de-risking, either via a secondary investment, via dividends, it doesn't matter. If you can get to a situation, which is not always the case, but if you can get to a situation where the top management of the company already had some level of de-risking, it's a whole different story in the ability of the founders to run a marathon and to really create the long-term company and invest whatever time they need in order to be a world-leading company. A shared vision and culture, of course, is very important. And the last one, which is the most important issue, is trust between the founders. Again, I'll share a very quick personal story. So I was the original founder and CEO of After Download that was acquired by ironSource, and Tomer and I, Tomer, who's the CEO of ironSource, we've worked together for 2 years before the merger, and we've literally done millions of dollars of agreements together without ever writing it on a piece of email or never needing an agreement. Everything was based on complete trust, and then we knew that we have the foundation to merge and to create one big company, because trust is by far the most important factor when you're looking to combine 2 companies into one unified vision. Some great examples. So we're seeing a trend in Israel of Israel companies that are acquiring or that are merging with other Israeli companies. You can see some great examples here. Wix is a great example. We'll speak about them a bit more. SimilarWeb, Checkpoint, Playtech, of course, CrossRider, and then ironSource. We've done several kind of these type of M&As, mergers, and acquisitions. Clash of cultures. So Clash of Cultures is about the challenge of going global, and that's, if when people ask us what is our biggest challenge, that's usually the answer. So in Israel, we're very used to managing an HQ-focused company. It means that you're sitting in HQ, you're taking all of the decision, and everything is centralized to one small place where decisions can be agile and quick, like we like to work in Israel. But when you start to have global offices, syncing these global offices and understanding different culture is maybe the most complicated task when you're expanding as a company. And these are some of the most important things that you need in order to overcome this challenge. So the first one is humility. Learning to work with and respect different business cultures. And I'll do a quick spoiler and show you the next slide. So this is the Chinese dragon eating the Israeli falafel. And I think that the Israel and China romance is a great proof to Israelis understanding that they don't know everything. They can't simply go to China and teach the Chinese how to do business. It doesn't work. They need to first listen, understand that they don't know anything about the Chinese culture, being able to learn from them, and only then you can really create a significant global business with a country like China. For ironSource, China represents today more than 20% of our revenues. It wasn't like that at the beginning. At the beginning, we, like every Israeli, thought we knew everything, thought that, hey, we'll teach the Chinese how to do business. We very quickly understood that we couldn't be more wrong. So the first lesson in the art of global expansion is humility and modesty. Learning to work with and respect different business cultures. The second one is patience, adapting to working in long-term cycles. So when you work on big deals in the US or not in Israel, really. So many things about the art of global expansion, very important. I'll try to be quick. I'll try to move quickly here. And then the last one is clash of styles, which is the challenge of global positioning. And I'll show you a quick example. This is what an Israeli company thinks marketing is, okay, or positioning is. This is a booth of an Israeli company. And this is what you see when you go out of a plane in San Francisco airport. So AppLovin is a mobile company smaller than ironSource, but when you go out of a plane in San Francisco airport, you see a huge sign, AppLovin, we're hiring. So when you're trying to be a global leader and you're thinking about positioning and marketing, you need to fundamentally alter your perception and really commit to the importance of marketing and frame the story in a global context. Or if I want to summarize it in one sentence, it's go big or go home. And here, I don't know if anyone from Wix is here today, but here Wix have done an amazing job with all of their ads and Super Bowl and all of their advertising activities. And they're a great proof of an Israeli company that knows how to position worldwide and are going after the go big or go home approach. And then the last question for this presentation, so it's okay, is can Israel create the next Facebook? And my answer, and I may be not objective, but my answer is absolutely yes. And the reason is that each of the challenges that we discuss, each of these lemons, we can, as Israelis, very easily turn them into lemonade. So if you speak about chutzpah, chutzpah is what gives you the guts to go with the attitude of go big or go home. If you speak about young and restless, this is what allows you to be agile and quick to adjust. If you speak about lack of experience, this is my favorite one, this is what allows you to think that there is no box. You don't think inside the box, but you simply don't know that there is a box to think inside it. And then the last one, if you're looking to secure a solid financial future, that's great because you'll build a for-profit organizations. And many of the companies in Israel are now not just trusting on an exit, they're trying to build profitable, sustainable companies as themselves. And that's the greatest formula to create a world-leading companies. And I'll finish with the ironSource vision, which the ironSource vision is to become a global category leader in app discovery, and not less important, to be the largest internet company ever founded in Israel and a global category leader. Thank you.
Thanks. I think we're going to have to probably give Omer the best use of theme in the presentation slides award.
The design is only Dan. He's there.
That's good to know. We have time for a couple of questions.
Do you plan to exit?
Do we plan? So again, I mean, right now it's not something that we're actively planning on. The company, it's not a secret that the company is considering different paths, like going public is of course one of them. It's not something that we plan on. We're planning on building a long-term global leader business.
I wanted to know, how do you change from being a startup nation to a growth nation and becoming world leaders? You know, like, are you bringing in talent from other countries, things like that?
Yeah. So it's a very good question. I think it's a process that Israeli entrepreneurs are going through. I think that we as Israeli entrepreneurs now have more guts or more ambitions to really create, more patience to really create a global leading companies. And it's not only about getting talent from the outside. Of course, it always helps, and it's something which, of course, companies are doing as well, to recruit top CMOs and top leading experts from global to help with that path.
All right, that's about all the time we have. Everybody
Thank
give
you.
Omer one more round of applause.